So I picked up some of this black 2.0 paint that I have seen used in other videos on YouTube. This is an acrylic based paint that touts itself as a super black, super matte, ultra pigment paint. Of course, upon seeing this, I immediately wondered how it would look on a 1/64 scale die-cast car, so I picked some up. If you've ever heard of Vantablack, it's supposed to get close to that. If you've not seen Vantablack, I recommend Googling it and looking at the images that come up. Really cool stuff, but not something you can buy. Upon receiving the paint, I did as others and painted a ping pong ball so I could have my own personal black hole to carry around. Given the right lighting, the effect is quite interesting, but I want to see what it would look like on a car. I've been saving this Screamliner car for just such an occasion. These cars came out over the Christmas holiday at Target, and you can still find them on the pegs ever so often. They have a nice weight to them, and the overall look is pretty nice for a fantasy car. I've seen some really amazing customs built out of this model. After pulling this one apart, I'll remove its paint. With the paint removed, you can get a good look at the underlying metal, which in this case is in pretty good shape. There's still a little bit of paint residue on the metal, so I'll remove that with some triple-aught steel wool. This will also help rough up the metal surface for the upcoming primer. Here's how the body looked after I was finished using this steel wool. You can see a few pits and scuffs in the metal, however this will be covered up by the primer, which I'll be applying in 2 coats. This is to make sure that I get good coverage of the car body. I can't apply any top coat to the black 2.0 as this would destroy the effect, so I'll be relying on the primer as my only way of holding the paint to the surface. Now black 2.0 doesn't come airbrush ready. In fact, I doubt they recommend me using it through an airbrush. However, I'm a glutton for airbrush punishment, so I'll need to thin this paint down so I can get it to go through the airbrush. To begin with, I'll add some of the paint to a small container and then add some acrylic thinner. On the bottle it does say to thin with water, but I really like this acrylic thinner and will go with it instead, with the hope that it doesn't negatively affect the paint in any way. Once the paint is thoroughly mixed, I'll let it sit for about 20 minutes. This is an easy way of straining the paint without using a strainer. Any large clumps of paint that did not mix well will sink to the bottom. I'll pour off or decant the top levels of paint into the airbrush, leaving behind any clumps. You don't want to just mix and dump the paint, as clumps will clog the airbrush, causing all sorts of issues. With my airbrush full of paint, I will begin laying down layers. I did about 6 layers in all, as I found the paint really likes to be thick for the effect to work. I keep talking about the effect, but I guess I should try to describe it. The paint makes the surface sort of disappear. The object sort of turns into a living silhouette, as it becomes difficult to make out any surface details. All you get is the outline. Now my camera does a really good job of compensating for this, and thus the car looks different in person than in the video. While painting entire cars in this is not really my end goal, what I do see myself using this for is vinyl tops on vintage redlines and exhaust effects. It might also look really neat to black out chrome wheels and other such things. Let me know what ideas you have below. Placing the car next to another matte black Hot Wheels gives you an idea of how matte the paint really gets. The truck looks like it has a semi-gloss in comparison now. I wish I could get across in the video just how strange this stuff is, especially at arm's length away. Placing it amongst other cars, it really does stand out. It's striking how dark it is in person. If you were wondering like I was what the car would look like if I applied a gloss clear coat, well, wonder no more. I used my urethane clear over the black 2.0 and then polished the surface. The end result looks like this. It definitely gives a nice looking black, and comparing it to other cars, it does seem to be a slight shade darker. However, it's not as striking as it was with the matte look. Plus it took a lot of clear to get to this point, as the paint has a texture to it, sort of like 2000 grit sandpaper. No doubt that's how it achieves that matte look. However, applying clear over the top, it really soaks it in. I had to put about 6 coats of clear just to even everything out. So I don't recommend this for clear coating. The texture would probably keep you from using any decals as well. I don't think they would stick on correctly. That all being said, I have some ideas that I want to try, and you might see them in the future. If you're interested in trying this paint out yourself, then I'll leave a link in the video description. Once again, if you have any ideas for how this could be used in future customs, please let me know below. I will admit that I have used this on several unrelated projects to great effect, and I'm sure you could too. Anyway, thanks for sitting through my little paint experiment here, and as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.